to file a motion to get him to leave me alone so we can both go and live our life in peace. Like, I'm confused because y'all know peace is what I want. Like, I don't want no smoke, bruh. Like, I'm too happy right now.
Everyone, brace yourselves, because what's about to surface feels ripped straight from a Hollywood horror script. Lori Harvey has detonated a revelation that sent shockwaves through the industry, pulling the curtain back on Aaron Pierre in a way no one saw coming. According to what's now leaking out, Aaron allegedly turned Teyana Taylor, yes, that icon, into a strategic move in his own ambition, chasing status, money, and advantage, while secretly weaving between Lori Harvey and Jessica Hardwick behind closed doors. Sources whisper that Aaron played Teyana's heart like a game board, feeding her illusions of rings, futures, and forever that never truly existed. While she poured in loyalty, protection, and genuine affection, insiders say his focus stayed locked on one goal: harvesting her influence, her access, and her proximity to Hollywood's inner circle. And the damage didn't stop there. Those same sources suggest his hidden entanglements may have quietly contributed to the collapse of Iman Shumpert's marriage. Picture it: Teyana, standing at the peak of her power, unknowingly transformed into a rung on someone else's ladder, believing she had found devotion, only to discover every late-night promise, every vulnerable confession, every stolen moment was part of a carefully scripted performance. Lori Harvey's disclosures make one thing painfully clear: this wasn't ordinary cheating. It was an orchestrated emotional and financial operation, engineered to elevate Aaron while draining everyone orbiting him. By late 2025, the pressure finally exploded. The illusion crumbled, the separation became unavoidable, and Aaron Pierre's mask reportedly fell in full view of the world. Audiences were left breathless, supporters devastated, and Hollywood rattled to its core. What Lori revealed isn't just scandal, it's a chilling lesson about control, deception, and how even the most radiant stars can be quietly hunted in the darkest corners of fame. This saga is volatile, tragic,
and Aaron Pierre split up over the holidays. They did. That is such a hot couple gone to waste. They are so, together. They were so beautiful. They dated less than a year. But here's the part that took me out. Women are already flooding Aaron's comments, trying to get his attention, because he posted a very, very fine as hell picture of himself.
Strap in, because what's about to unfold will completely rewrite everything you thought you knew about Hollywood love, ambition, and betrayal. Lori Harvey has finally broken her silence on Aaron Pierre, and the account she's releasing isn't just scandalous. It's a volatile, high-stakes saga that feels more like a psychological thriller than real life. Insiders now allege that Aaron didn't see Teyana Taylor as a partner at all, but as a strategic asset, a powerful launchpad to elevate his name, his status, and his access. Fame, fortune, connections, even proximity to influence were reportedly part of his silent agenda, and the casualties along the way were irrelevant to him. To the outside world, everything looked flawless. Teyana glowing under the spotlight. Aaron standing beside her, whispering devotion, promising stability, selling the image of loyalty and forever. But Lori Harvey's disclosures ripped that illusion apart. According to what's now surfacing, Aaron was allegedly orchestrating a double existence, feeding Teyana affection while secretly sustaining parallel bonds with Lori and Jessica Hardwick. Every whispered promise, every late-night confession, every dream of marriage, insiders claim it wasn't romance at all, but strategy. Emotional control, financial positioning, and physical advantage were allegedly weapons he deployed with precision, leaving Teyana, despite her power, completely unprepared for the deception. And the fallout didn't stop with heartbreak. Sources now suggest this tangled web may have bled directly into the collapse of Iman Shumpert's marriage, exposing how far the damage spread. Charm became camouflage. Secrecy became currency. False futures became leverage. Lori's revelations insist this wasn't a fleeting affair or a misunderstanding blown out of proportion. It was an ongoing pattern of calculated exploitation designed to lift Aaron higher while dismantling the emotional stability of everyone caught in his orbit. Behind closed doors, insiders say Teyana spent months standing by Aaron through his darkest moments, offering comfort, protection, and unwavering loyalty, unaware she was reinforcing the very manipulation that trapped her. Every breakdown she endured, every vulnerable confession.
So I looked at her profile, and her name is attorney Simone Redwine. Simone Redwine is an injury attorney who's been on ABC, Fox, and the Oprah Winfrey Network. And Attorney Simone, I looked up.
When Lori Harvey's claims finally surfaced, the upper ranks of Hollywood reportedly fell into stunned silence, and the storm only grew more violent from there. Insiders close to Teyana Taylor now insist the psychological warfare she endured was far more severe than anyone publicly realized. Pierre is alleged to have engineered a labyrinth of lies so intricate that every hour Teyana spent believing in their bond had already been choreographed. Texts, secluded encounters, even red carpet moments were allegedly staged to sell an illusion of devotion, all while he quietly maintained hidden ties with both Lori Harvey and Jessica Hardwick. Sources with knowledge of private legal exchanges claim what surfaced behind closed doors was devastating. Supposed messages between Aaron and Lori allegedly stripped away the mask, revealing intentions that were deliberate and cold. Each time Teyana broke down, each plea for reassurance was reportedly repurposed into leverage, a way to strengthen his position, expand his reach, and quietly secure financial advantage. Hollywood whispers suggest this betrayal wasn't emotional chaos alone, but tactical warfare, exploiting trust in an industry where image is currency. Those closest to Teyana say her world slowly narrowed. Torn between affection and suspicion, she struggled to reconcile love with the growing trail of contradictions. The devastation reportedly peaked when she realized the future he promised, family, permanence, stability, had never existed. Insiders allege Aaron deliberately shaped circumstances to make her appear reliant on him, polishing her public image while silently advancing his own ambitions. Lori's account suggests the manipulation went even deeper, dictating who Teyana could confide in, who could protect her, and how far she could climb before understanding she had been positioned as a pawn. As the scandal intensified, witnesses claim the confrontations behind closed doors became volatile. During secluded meetings, Teyana reportedly placed irrefutable proof of infidelity and deception in front of him, issuing warnings about consequences that were no longer theoretical. Instead of retreating, insiders say Aaron escalated, layering new promises over old lies, revealing a chilling indifference to the emotional destruction left behind. Lori's Exposed describes these moments as windows into betrayal at its most brutal, where affection became ammunition and trust turned into a weapon. By the final stretch of 2025, collapse was unavoidable. Those near Teyana described the separation as merciless, leaving her shattered and exposed in the public eye. Every affair, every secret pact, every engineered moment detonated at once, exposing a pattern of exploitation in full daylight. Audiences and media responded with disbelief and fury, launching the story into viral chaos. What once looked like cinematic romance was recast overnight as a warning about ambition, manipulation, and the hidden cost of devotion. The aftershocks continue to pulse through Hollywood as Lori's revelations refuse to fade. Trauma, broken alliances, and public outrage have fused into a narrative as tragic as it is revealing. Each leaked exchange, each buried detail now unearthed, deepens the portrait of control that allegedly defined the relationship. The saga has become a haunting reminder that even the most luminous figures can be quietly dismantled, and that betrayal inside this industry leaves scars no spotlight can erase. In the aftermath, those around Teyana say her strength is being tested beyond anything she has known. She is reportedly piecing together her sense of trust and identity, but the shadow of Pierre's alleged conduct still lingers. Lori's decision to speak has ignited debates about accountability, manipulation, and the dangers lurking behind glamorous partnerships. Every new disclosure fuels obsession, with fans analyzing every move, every contradiction, every fracture, sealing this scandal as one of the most emotionally devastating stories of the year. And according to insiders, the reckoning is far from complete. More material, more hidden alliances, more evidence of calculated exploitation is rumored to be waiting in the wings. Each leak, each confirmation, drives the narrative deeper into viral territory. Industry observers say this case is becoming the ultimate collision of power, trust, and betrayal, unfolding in full view, with consequences that may permanently reshape reputations. Even as shock ripples outward, Tayana's ordeal stands as a stark testament to how fame can be weaponized. The manipulation, the deception, the emotional extraction she endured reveal a side of celebrity rarely acknowledged. Lori's expose peeled that veil away, uncovering not only alleged misconduct, but the terrifying vulnerability of those who search for love under relentless scrutiny. Now every claim, every whispered detail, every emotional fracture keeps audiences transfixed. Social platforms burn with speculation, insiders trade fragments, and fans demand reckoning. What began as rumor has transformed into a chronicle of control, deceit, and heartbreak, proof that in a world built on illusion, the truth, once unleashed, can destroy, redefine, and leave devastation in its wake. The strain finally reached a breaking point where silence collapsed under its own weight. Insiders say the shockwaves from Lori Harvey's disclosures dragged every buried detail into daylight, triggering a public reckoning no one could outrun. Overnight, the storyline transformed. What had once been dismissed as a private separation suddenly resembled a public tribunal for credibility, image, and emotional survival. Each quote, each leaked exchange, each whispered confirmation shattered another layer of the sources tied to the fallout claim that once the breakup was exposed, others quietly emerged from the shadows, reinforcing a pattern that could no longer be denied. Familiar accounts began circulating, all echoing the same cycle: emotional attachment, sweeping promises, calculated timing, and abrupt detachment once access or advantage had been secured. The accusations suggested not an isolated lapse, but a system repeated with precision. In the center of it all, Tayana Taylor's anguish became the emotional core of the narrative, living proof of how devastating manipulation becomes when loyalty is turned into a weapon. Away from cameras, the damage was reportedly unbearable. Those closest to Tayana say she fought to reconcile the love she believed in with the mounting proof dismantling it. Every memory came under interrogation. Every moment replayed through a lens of betrayal. Insiders describe her realizing, with crushing clarity, that what she believed was sacred had allegedly been shared, duplicated, and exploited elsewhere. The humiliation, they say, was profound, leaving her emotionally unguarded before a global audience. As the layers continued to peel back, Lori Harvey's position evolved from observer to catalyst. Her choice to speak, sources say, followed witnessing the emotional wreckage left behind. Compelled to disrupt the cycle, she stepped forward knowing the backlash would be brutal. With each disclosure, the public mood shifted. The spectacle gave way to accountability. Sympathy migrated. Timelines were reconstructed, contradictions dissected, and questions demanded answers that could no longer be buried beneath glamour. The media storm intensified without mercy. Commentators reframed the saga as a warning about imbalance and emotional exploitation within celebrity power dynamics. Language sharpened. Pressure mounted. Pierre's appearances reportedly dwindled, and when statements did surface, they were greeted with disbelief and fury. Online reaction hardened, with accusations shifting from misjudgment to deliberate orchestration. The verdict of public opinion, by then, had already solidified. Tayana Taylor, meanwhile, began reclaiming herself quietly but unmistakably. Insiders say she immersed herself in her craft, transforming pain into purpose while refusing to publicly attack anyone involved. That restraint only elevated her standing. Each appearance radiated resolve, each word chosen with precision. Supporters read her silence not as surrender, but as endurance. Against that backdrop, the growing evidence of control made the imbalance impossible to ignore. As time passed, whispers of professional consequences surfaced. Projects hesitated. Doors quietly closed. Industry alliances reportedly tightened as studios and brands distanced themselves from controversy. The story had crossed from rumor into reputational collapse, and the effects were undeniable. What began as speculation had become a narrative with tangible fallout, proving that emotional misconduct, even when concealed, eventually demands its reckoning. The deepest tragedy lies not only in betrayal, but in how long it remained invisible. Those nearest to the truth now describe a haunting realization that charisma and ambition, left unchecked, can slowly dismantle lives. The damage wasn't explosive at first. It was quiet, internal, and deeply personal. Only once the pattern emerged did the full scale of destruction finally come into focus. By the closing chapter, Hollywood faced an unsettling reality. Fame does not shield against control. Achievement does not guarantee safety. And love, when corrupted, becomes one of the most powerful instruments of domination. Lori Harvey's choice to speak, Teyana Taylor's silent resilience, and the public's demand for clarity transformed the saga into more than scandal. It became a warning etched into the industry's memory. What remains now is the reckoning. Recovery that will take years. Images that may never fully heal. And reputations redefined not by talent alone, but by decisions made in secrecy. This story did not conclude with separation. It ended with exposure, consequence, and a collective awakening that even in a world built on illusion, truth eventually breaks free. And as the dust finally settles, one truth stands undeniable. This was never merely about romance. It was about control, deception, and the emotional price of manipulation. A tragedy staged beneath relentless lights, leaving wounds fame could not conceal, and lessons Hollywood will carry long after the headlines fade. This is where the story stops being entertainment and starts feeling like a warning. What unfolded wasn't just a messy breakup or a headline-chasing scandal. It was an emotional collapse played out in real time. Trust was traded for access. Love was turned into leverage. And a woman at the top of her game was allegedly reduced to a resource instead of a partner. That's the part that hits hardest. Not the rumors, not the secrets, but the realization that manipulation can wear the face of support and still destroy everything in its path. Hollywood loves to glamorize power, but this situation exposed the cost of it. Behind closed doors, promises were made that never existed, futures were sold that were never intended, and emotions were pulled apart piece by piece. The pain wasn't loud at first. It was quiet, calculated, and deeply personal. By the time the truth surfaced, the damage was already done. And when it finally came out, it didn't whisper. It exploded. Fans weren't just shocked, they were hurt. Hurt watching someone they admired realize that what felt real was allegedly engineered. Hurt seeing how easily influence can outweigh empathy. Hurt knowing this isn't rare, just rarely exposed. And that's why this story refuses to fade. Because it forces a question nobody wants to ask. How many other relationships are built on illusion? And how many people are suffering in silence right now? If this story shook you, it was supposed to. If it made you uncomfortable, good. And if it made you question the narratives you're usually fed, then the truth did its job. Don't scroll past this. Don't forget it tomorrow. Share it, talk about it, and pay attention. Because silence is what allows manipulation to survive, and exposure is the only thing that ever ends it.